Hello guys and welcome to my channel, and in today's video we are going to learn how we can create this stunning card carousel in LWC. So initially when I was working on this requirement, I thought it would be easy to do that, but gradually I faced a lot of challenges and I found out it is very difficult to create these kind of carousel using native JavaScript and HTML. So I searched some other ways, and then I found out there are some libraries which you can use to create these cards carousel very easily. And well, I'll move into the code part. You will also see like it's very easy to do that. So, and it will create at the end it will create a very beautiful card carousel for you. So let's jump into the content and see what I have did to create these carousel. So I came into my VS Code, and if you see on the left side, I have created this component which is Lwcslider. So if I go to this as lwccardslider.js, so inside that, so the first thing that you can see is I'm importing load script and load style from platform resource loader. So this is because we want to use the third-party library, and for that we need to import it the load script and load style, and later we will use these to load our third-party library. And then the second thing here you can see is I'm using Flickity library. So this is the library I'm using to create this card carousel. Okay, and the alias I have put it as Flick. So this library I have put in the static resource. So let me go to my UI. So here you can see in the static resource I have used this library Flickity. So if I do that view file, so you will be able to see, let me show you. Like this is my basically folder, and here we have all these three files. So we need only these three files to load our carousel. So the one first is that jquery.min.js, and then we have flickity.pkgd.min.js, and then for CSS we need flickity.css. So we need only these three files, so that you can put it in the folder and then just create a zip and load it into your static resource. Now to have these three files, so I'm using this website. So this is a Syrian. So here you have the link of all the three files. So two files is there, like flickity.pkgd.min.js and then flickity.css. So you can just use this URL and then copy the content and save it in a folder. And for the jQuery you can use this Syrian. So here you can use this link to download this jquery.min.js file. So once you have these three files and once you have loaded it into the static resource, then you have to again go to your JavaScript. Now here in the line number 7, so I am basically creating one card variable which is basically a list of object, and inside that we have only these three parameters for any object, and the first one is the ID. So this I'm using to uniquely identify this object. Okay, and then we have the subtitle. So subtitle is basically the content part of the card. So this one is the subtitle. And then we have the image URL. So this I am basically using from the Google Images. So if you want to have any image URL, you can just go to the Google Images and copy the URL address of it, and then you can paste it here. And if still you are not clear, then you can watch my previous video on LWC card. So there I have explained how you can copy the URL address and then you can use it. Okay, so so I have created here around 9 objects, and you can also put as many as object here, and the whole object will come inside my carousel. Okay, so let me just close this, okay, to avoid confusion, and then let me come to this connected callback. So here we have I'm loading these two script file which is JavaScript file, and then in this, so once these two files has been loaded, then I'm basically loading this style which is flickity.css, and once all these three files will be loaded, then I'm just putting one console.log to see all these three files are loaded. And after that I'm using one method which is Flickity. So this method is available in this library. So and then I'm just using the jQuery format to capture the carousel class from the HTML and calling this method called Flickity, and inside that, so we have different parameters. So for my requirement, I'm using these two parameters, which is group sales and autoplay. So group sales is true, which means I want to group some of the card and then show the carousel. So that's why we are using this property. If you want to just show one card, then you can ignore this property as well. And autoplay is 3000 millisecond. So I want to basically autoplay my card for every 3 seconds, so I'm using this. Okay, and if there is any error inside my connected callback, so I'll get this error message here, so I'll get to know like my library is working or not. So only these things you need to do in the JavaScript file, and you will be ready with all the contents, and then you just need to go and write in your HTML where you need to create all the cards, and later it will work seamlessly. Okay, so let me just go to the HTML part and explain you how it is basically I have created that card carousel. So in my HTML file, I'm basically, the first step I'm trying to do here is I am trying to build the outermost part of the whole component. So if you go my screen, so here you can see this is my outermost part. Okay, so that I have created this SLDS. I'm using this Salesforce standard class, which is SLDS box. So you can go to Lightning Design System, and any class that you want to search, you can go and search it here. Like I searched for box, and I have found out that there is a standard class which is SLDS box. So that's why I have used this SLDS box inside my code. Okay, and then I'm using SLDS theme default. I'm using this because I need a white background. Again, if you want to search for any theme, you can just go here and search for the theme class, and you'll get 3 to 4 theme classes available in Salesforce. Now I'm using a padding around medium because I want to have a space between my elements, the outer elements and the inside elements. So that's why I'm using this padding. So this will create a space between the elements. Then after that, I am basically using so this one I don't need, because let me go. So actually this one I don't need because I don't want a white background, so I just wanted a kind of gray background, so that's why I'm using this one. So that the earlier one I have just removed it. Okay, so this will create a gray background. Okay, and box, so this is a custom CSS I'm trying to use here. So this will basically create a shadow kind of effect on my basically the card, in the background of the card. If you see in the background, so this is a little bit 3D effect is coming, so that's why I'm using the box class. Okay, after that I have put a style as 3. In the style I put the height as 530px. So this will ensure all my cards are inside this whole div, so that it can look better. Okay, now after this I am trying to use a grid Lightning Design System. So this I am basically using because I want to have a better design pattern in my component, and it allows me the flexibility to put any portion or modify any portion at any time. So that's why I'm using this grid pattern. You can learn more about the grid pattern if you go to Lightning Design System, just search for the grid, and you can see how does the grid work. Okay, and then after this again I'm using this padding. So this one, because I want to have a little space inside these two, the border and the main content, so I'm using the padding. Okay, and then border bottom I don't need this. I'll just let me remove that because I don't want any border in the bottom, so I can remove it. It will work again. I'm using the theme, and then the box, this one, to create a 3D effect in the background. Okay, for this one. Then as I'm using the grid, so I'm using SLDS call, and then I'm using this the title, which is custom card carousel, and I'm again using one Salesforce class, which is SLDS text heading large. So this will ensure my heading should be in a large format. Okay, so after we are done with these things, okay, then the main part which will come here, which is this div. Okay, so this div I have put it here, and I have used one class called carousel. So this I'm using because at the end we need a carousel around all my div card. So I'm using this class, and later I will call the class inside my a connected callback. So once I'm calling this method Flickity, I'll be using this class to call the method and allow it to create a carousel. Okay, so I'm using this class, and then we have this template. So this is for the loop, because I want all my items to come in a loop, and this will create a dynamic basically behavior of the card. Okay, and then one important thing below is like we need to use the gallery cell. So you can notice here I'm not using the grid thing here, because we are dependent on the third-party library, and we have to use the third-party library pattern to create the carousel. So that's why I'm using the carousel and the gallery cell, these kind of classes inside our HTML. So this will basically we are using that to have all our cards arranged in a proper horizontal manner. Okay, and then we have again the medium space between each of these two cards, so I'm using that. And then the card style and box are the custom CSS. If I go in my CSS class, I'll show you the card style is basically the width 25% and the border radius 5px. So this is basically the width of the card and the border radius of the card, so that's why I'm using this custom CSS. And then if I go again here, box I'm using for making this card as a 3D effect. Okay, and then now after this I'm using this SLDS grid, because now I want all my content inside the cards to be arranged properly. So I'm again switched back to the grid pattern, and here I am first creating this image in one row, and then I will be going to create the subtitle in the second row. So both the row will come vertically, so I'm using SLDS grid vertical. Okay, now in the next line, basically again I'm using some padding and the text heading medium. This one I don't think we require this, because we will be using our text heading again in the subtitle part. Okay, now inside this we have this image tag, and width is 100% because I want it to be fit. And then we have this class image style. So if I go to image style, so this is basically the height of the image, and the border radius again I wanted to make it around a corner, so that this both corners will have the round look. So at the end we have both the things here, okay, for the image. And then in the end we are using again putting some content in the subtitle. So for that I'm using text heading small. Okay, and again I'm using the padding because I want to have some space between the text and the other elements inside the div. Okay, so that's all. I mean, these all things only we have to do, and we will have our HTML thing ready. And in the JS side we will use div class carousel. We will be basically searching for any div which is having this carousel class, so that it will going to find out, and then we can use this Flickity method here to group ourselves. So if you see the whole element, so it looks like very easy, and you have got a very good stunning card carousel, and the lines of code that I've used is very less. If you go with the native JavaScript approach, you have to write a lot of code, and you need to just have the same behavior which I am able to create in the using the Flickity library. So just try this code. I will put the code in my website, which is www.salesforcenugget.com. so I'll put in the description, I'll put the link of this article, so you can go there and you can copy the code, and you can also try in your free org. And let me know if you are stuck or you need any kind of help over this. Okay, so if you want a similar kind of content, please subscribe to our channel, so we will be creating this kind of content more. So and thank you so much for watching my video.